You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back. So today's real crime story is about 15-year-old Angela Allen from Van Buren, Arkansas. Angela and her brother Seth lived with their grandmother and was being raised by their grandmother. Their dad left when they were young, and the mother's not in the picture. Now, because the grandmother didn't have very much money, but she made sure that they always had food in their bellies, she could not afford a computer. So whenever Angela wanted to use a computer, she would go to the library. So for her 16th birthday, her grandmother threw her a party and scraped up enough money to buy her a cell phone. Of course, Angela immediately joined Facebook and other chat sites like her friends. One night, her phone rings in the middle of the night, and her brother answers the phone and realizes it's a 30-year-old man. Apparently, Angela has been talking to this guy and told him that she's older than she is. Her grandmother gets upset, and she promises her grandmother she will not do that again. Then one day, Angela gets a friend request from a guy named John, who's 17. He soon becomes her online boyfriend. So one night while Angela is babysitting for some friends, her and John are texting back and forth, and he asks Angela to take a selfie with no shirt on. She's hesitant, but figures it's her boyfriend, so it's alright. Big mistake. Then he asks her to take more sexy pictures totally naked, and she does it. So one night, they plan to meet up in an empty parking lot, and that is the last time anybody has seen her. February 11th, 2012, Angela goes missing. Then one of Angela's friends goes to visit Angela's grandmother and tells her that she got a text from Angela that says she's with some guy named Jason in a black Camaro, and they're heading to Little Rock. Her grandmother didn't think that sounded right, but the police are convinced that she's a runaway. So the investigators start analyzing her cell phone, and they come across a phone number that's registered to a convicted sex offender. They talk to him, but he has an alibi, and it checks out. Saturday, February 11th was the last time her phone pinged. The last number she texted belonged to a 36-year-old man named Lloyd Collins Jones. So he came in for questioning. The police wanted him to explain the relationship he had with Angela. So while the police are talking to Lloyd, the investigator is going through all of Angela's texts. Now, Lloyd told the police that he met her on Friday in the hospital parking lot. He says she gets in the truck. She tells him that he's 16, and because he's a sex offender, he knows he can get in trouble just by having her in his car. So he freaks out and makes her get out of the car. Then he sees her get into a black Camaro, and that was the last time he saw her. But the police weren't buying his story. They think that he abducted Angela, but they have to prove it. After the investigator went through all of her text messages, she figured out that Angela went to meet him that night, but wouldn't get in his truck because she realized he wasn't 17. He was an older man. Then Lloyd blackmailed Angela to force her to get back in his truck. He told her that if she didn't come back to his truck, he would show everybody at school all the nude pictures she took of herself. So she got back in his truck. Now, when they confronted Lloyd with this information, he decided he wanted a lawyer. In the meantime, the police go and talk to Lloyd's girlfriend, and she tells them that Lloyd was home working on their house, and she knows that because he came home all muddy. Well, now the police are thinking he might have buried her body. So the police search Lloyd's property, and they find something. They find a recently buried barrel. And when they open the barrel, they find Angela's body. She was strangled, and one of her knees was sawed so she would fit in the barrel. Lloyd Jones is charged with the homicide of Angela Allen. He pleads guilty and was sentenced to 60 years in prison. However, he gets out early on good behavior. Her grandmother obviously is furious at this and petitioned to change the law for sex offenders, and she calls it Angela's Law. She wants to make sure sex offenders serve all of their time. This just goes to show that even though you're chatting with somebody, it doesn't mean they're who they say they are. Be careful online. Well, thank you so much for joining me for today's real crime story. If you like it, please share it and subscribe. And if you are a true crime addict like me, check out my store, crystalkiss.com, for some murder merch. I sell t-shirts, hoodies, and leggings. Join me again for more real crime stories. Thanks. Bye.